Pink Poodle Crafts, join the Poodle Pack. It's time to get creative and make you laugh. Make your own art today. Pink Poodle Crafts is the way.
What a good boy.
Hey crafty family, it's me. Today I want to play with alcohol inks. The thing that I really wanted to do, I can't do because I have to wait for Chris to steal me a couple of cans of air from work because I wanted to do some things with straw blowing and all that kind of stuff. But for now, one of the things that I thought of was something that I saw a while ago when I was watching like the Creativation videos. At least I think it was Creativation. It was a while ago. Sorry if I have to keep taking sips. My mouth is still broken out with thrush because of my antibiotics. Fun. But I can't remember who it was. There was a lady that was showing like painting with alcohol inks, and I wanted to try that. But around that time I was anemic when I seen that video, so I didn't get a chance to do it. So what I did was I took some glossy cardstock, and I have some yupo paper, which I've never even used yupo paper, but I took a piece of 5x7 and cut it, and it cut into 4 perfect ATCs, and that's what I'm going to do is ATCs. And we're going to make some flowers. She did a very easy flowers, and it looked fairly easy, and it looked like something maybe I could do. So we're going to give it a try. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use our colors. I have these packaging. They're like, packaging. Pieces of packaging. On this side, it's like, it doesn't have a wall on this side of it. Only the center ones do. So I'm going to use the center ones. I may use and it's okay if the alcohol ink dries in there. That's fine because you can reactivate it with a little alcohol, obviously. And when using alcohol inks, you want to use, if you don't have blending solution, and I do, but I don't use it very much. I have alcohol in here. It's 91% alcohol. So that's what you would use. Now, blending solution is a better option. So actually, I might take some blending solution and put it in here. We'll just use this one for a little bit of blending solution in that one. That's probably going to dry up quicker than I get to use it. But this lady took, she actually painted with a paintbrush, and she made these cool flowers, which I'll show you. I don't know if I'll be able to replicate what she did, but she kind of made like a pod. And I know it's like, okay, well, I can use markers if I wanted to do that, but it's interesting the effects that you get using painting with the alcohol ink. I found very fascinating that it was actually easier than you would think to get a really cool result. So that's why we're playing with this. And you want to use layers. Like I said, this is like a very weird pod-like flower thing. And I'm going to use layers. So I'm going to use a couple of different colors. And as you use one color, it kind of pushes the other color around. I'm going to use it down in the stems. And if you take some alcohol, you can blend things even better. And you don't want to use like a lot of alcohol. You notice I wiped it off on here. I should really have a rag here to wipe it off on. So if you dip your brush in some alcohol, here's my alcohol, and just tap it off on a rag real quick so that when you go in, you can get a softer kind of look. And I'm just kind of dragging the ink around. I have no idea what I'm doing, so we're just playing and seeing what happens. Tapping it off a little. I might go into this color here, and it's also a greenish color. And I'm like making my stems too big, but you can always go back with alcohol and fix that too. I think I can show you. Like if I don't like that my stem was so big on, on that side, I can go back in here and probably clean it up with a little alcohol. Or not. Not as much as I'd like to. Probably on the yupo paper, not as much on here, but it's fine either way. I don't care. I don't care. I'm having fun. But if you just like add layers, and kind of push the alcohol around, it gives almost a watercolor effect. And what's cool is as the alcohol inks dry in the pan, they get kind of thicker and more condensed color. So they actually look like a bit even better. It's interesting. So let's see. Let's work on blend this out. What's nice is you can just continually blend out harsh lines using the alcohol, which I find to be a lot of fun. Let me zoom you in even further. I don't know how well it's going to look if I do that, but let's see. Hopefully that's clear enough for you to see well. Let's do the hopefully you'll be able to see. And see the different color variations I got in there going on. I just added I've learned something, I mean, which I should have known considering that I do mixed media and I always tell people the more layers you add the better. But I learned something in any kind of painting. The more layers you add, the better it looks. I don't know how that is or why that is, but it seems to be the truth. And let's see, we're going to use this red. Is this the red I have? I have another red here. Let's see. I have that magenta looking one. Orange, green. Sorry. Okay, anyway. I know there was blending solution there, but it dried up. We're just going to stick this red in there. So now we're going to make our little flower coming out of our pod. And we're just going to make a whole bunch of wispy. And this one's going to get a little one. And this is what's cool about this is like, I don't know, some sort of cactus flower. I don't know. This is what she did. This is what I remember her doing. And it looked like a green ball thing with I wonder if I can get any to stay in there without rolling around too much. As long as you put like a drop, like as it's open over here, so it could just come out. So I'm going to put a different color red. I think this looks really cool. It looks better than any painting I could ever do. That's for sure. You can just rinse your brush off in a little alcohol. That's what I'm doing over here. I've got this. I'm rinsing with alcohol, and I've got this rust color. We'll put a couple of drops of that in. And you could keep this palette forever, because even when it dries up, all you gotta do is just put some alcohol on your brush and go in. And what's cool is you don't have to have any, it makes it so much easier to paint because you don't have to have any knowledge of anything, because it kind of does the blending for you, if that makes sense. So it's pretty fascinating how this works without having to be any kind of alcohol ink expert. I'm making it darker down at the base. Putting just plain alcohol on now. Just kind of pulling it up and seeing, you know, just see what happens. Just do things for the sake of doing it and seeing what happens. It's very interesting how easy and cool that looks. I mean, that looks like it's not something, not a result I could have gotten with watercolor as easily as this, because of the way watercolor reacts with each other and how alcohol reacts completely different. Whereas watercolor, every time you put one color on top of another, it just blends together. Alcohol ink is completely different. You put one color on top of another color and it pushes the other color out. So it makes it look like you did this really cool kind of watercolory effect. So that's one. It's an ATC, so I'm going to leave it just like this. I'm not going to do anything else with it. I just think that's kind of cool. And I think if I ink the edges with something and put a little sentiment sticker on here, I think that would look really cool. Very, very easy. I can't paint. So if I can't paint and I'm capable of doing this, anybody can do it. So let's see. I've got, let's see what other colors we got here. I have got this, no, not that one. This wild plum color. So we'll put a drop or two in here. Hopefully it doesn't spread out to there. Wild plum, and I've got this raisin color. And let's make, and along with the red, we could start with the red since I have it there. We'll do like reds and purple, and we'll do a flower with the reds and the purples. We'll do like some wickedy weird kind of cool flowers. I'm kind of pressing and then releasing with the side of just a regular little brush. I'm like pressing with the side and then releasing it out just to make some like weird petals. I don't know. Nothing that makes any sense to me. I don't know any flower that looks like this. I'm not trying to make flowers that are like, oh, these are daffodils, these are roses. You know, I'm not making anything that has any sense to it. Just kind of playing. So without even cleaning off my brush, I'm going to take some of this color and see what happens when I throw some of that into the mix. And just go in there and keep doing that until it looks like it could potentially look like something. That color is not a tremendously stark difference, but that's okay. We got other colors to play with. We can darken it, we can lighten it. I can add a little alcohol and just kind of go in and push it out more. Now I can add some of this purple, which is much darker. And we can just go in and see what happens. And now we can play with some alcohol. Just put a drop of alcohol in the center. And that creates a little center of its own. And then I'm taking alcohol and brushing the petals just to see what would happen. It's not a fabulous flower yet, but I'm sure we can do something to make it a little more fabulous, I think. Let's see, what other color can we add? Something... purple twilight. We don't have that, but let's see. Let's try some of that purple twilight. Kind of looks like the other purple. That wasn't that much different. Was the other one the same? One was wild plum and that was purple twilight, but they look very similar. Just keep adding colors until it looks like something. And you could just take some alcohol and again put a drop in the middle. If I thicken up these petals a little bit and actually paint them out. Use this to do it. So play, 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 play. Play until you get something you like. The alcohol reacts differently with every color and every stroke and everything you do. Alright, I like how the centers look. They look cool. I don't know what other color to add with purple. Let's try some blue. Let's see if we can't liven it up with a little blue. Maybe I'll add some alcohol to that because it's very strong. That looks cool. That gave it a different kind of feel. I put the darker color over and then just put alcohol on my thing. It does some cool things. If I push it back from the tip of the petal in, it brings back out the red that was all the way at the bottom. That's really cool. I definitely like that. That looks neat. So after all those layers, if I take it and I could push back down to like another layer, I kind of like that one. That came out really cool. See, it's hard to see. It looks really dark on camera, but it's not. You just have to play with it in person to see, you know, play with it on your own and see how cool it is when you play with these. It's hard to see on camera sometimes. And go in with the blue. And then take the alcohol, clean off your brush, my dirty alcohol, push back. It does some cool things. Okay, that was interesting. Let's try some of this butterscotch. Let's see what happens if we put a little alcohol in our brush, a little bit of butterscotch, and put that in the center so that we get a kind of a flower center. Push that outward. Now, if I were to have done this watercolors, obviously the purples and the butterscotch, which is like an orangey yellow, would turn to mud. In this case, they push each other out of the way, and they don't really form a mud. Or at least it's not as much of a mud as you would get. Now they just look like really crazy flowers that I just made up flowers. They're outer space flowers. I think they're cool. So you can't see because it looks so dark on camera. It looks like just blobs, but I promise it's not. That's the only problem. It's hard on camera to show what it looks like. So now I made some stems, and like I said, you can go back in with a little alcohol and reconstitute your alcohol. And there you go. It's some goofy, silly flowers, which unfortunately are hard to see. I wonder if I kill that light if it makes it easier. No. Or put it on there maybe. There you go. That gives a little bit better. Now you can see all the different layers. Cool. I like it. So that's that. Now let's try to make something else. This time let's try it on yupo paper since I've never done yupo paper. Let me dump out this dirty alcohol and put some new alcohol in there. Let's make some weird flowers, shall we? Let's see. Let's do this red color. More of that in there. Whoa. Let's take some of this and put it on here and blend it out on here a bit so that it's not so vibrant. Again, I'm using that same brush because why not? And it's cool because when you're doing this on like a smooth surface like this, it's easier, I think. You know, either the glossy cardstock or this yupo paper, either or, it's just easier. All right, clean that out and take a different color. Let's see. Use some of this color. I don't even remember what color this was. I think it was that rust color. I'll use a little bit of this. My dogs are starting to go crazy, so I probably can't stay on too long. That's the hard thing about doing a video now with the puppies, because, you know, I can't go check on them in the middle of a video without having to do a lot of editing that I don't want to do. So yeah. But I think that looks pretty cool so far. Let's see. How about we take some of this and put it there. That wild plum color, I think. I don't know which one it is, to be honest. And obviously, if you're using alcohol, you might want to use it in a more well-ventilated area. Do as I say, not as I do. I want to make this red a little more vibrant, so I might go over the whole thing and just layer it with some more layers. It seems like the yupo paper dulls it. I don't know if it's the yupo paper or if it's just that I've watered it down with some alcohol. Could be. I don't know. I don't know much about yupo paper. It's the first time I've ever even used it. So I'm just layering over top of everything more than once. What was that color? Was it the rust? I don't know. Yeah, I think it was. Let's do the wild plum, which actually I think that might have been the raisin. Yeah, it was. Interesting. I'm just making these weird four-fingered hands look like. Let's add some of this purpley. That's really now I'm just going to use straight alcohol and just go in and see what happens when I do that. It's interesting. It is interesting. Me likey. See, it's just so cool, and it doesn't matter what you do because you can always just go over it with something else. So if you don't like it too terribly much, then whatever, just go over it with something else. I wonder if I take some of this butterscotch. Where is that butterscotch? Here it is. Let me put more in there. I put that on the end there. Make that like the tip of the flower. My weird finger flowers. And I'll even make that the start of the stems. Let's see what we can get going here. Ooh, that was too much. I need to blot that up before I way too much on there. And let's see, let's take a little red to darken that. I'll use this one here. Take some red, and that'll darken the green. Because it's a complementary color. It's across from it on the color wheel, so it'll kind of brown it out a little bit. That's what I want. Maybe a little bit darker. That's kind of cool. I like that. My little funky, freaky flowers. So you can do all kinds of weird things. And, you know, you can do whatever you want. Let's work on the yupo paper one more time. And we'll do one more flower. And this time, let's see. I have orange. And the hell color is this? I don't know. It doesn't say on the bottle, oddly enough. Well, remove this palette out of the way. I got another one here. And we'll put some other colors in this one. It's an orange color for sure, but I don't know what kind of orange color it is. And it's the exact same color that is. Without a label. Okay, like I said, I got most of these at the Creative Reuse. So, ooh, I didn't even, this one's not even, oh, my needles. This one's like clogged. I didn't know an alcohol bottle can get clogged. This is an old one, I guess. Some of these I've never even tested or anything. Okay, well, there's that. Gross. What others? I even got some of these pinata inks. I don't think these are as strong as the Ranger inks are, though. Okay, let's start with this lighter color. Let me clean this area right here just because it's a mess. It's covered with hoo-ha. Let's take this and do like a weird flower. I'm doing it all with the same brush. I haven't even just, because I mean I could use another brush, but you know, why would I do that? Now let's take some of this color. I'll add that on top of there and pull it out and see what happens. It's kind of fun to discover what this is going to look like or do when you play with these. 9 times out of 10 they come out looking pretty neat, regardless of whether or not they're realistic. And that could be my center, and I'll even pull that out some. Maybe I'll make a different center. Now I'm just going to use some alcohol ink, tap it off a little bit, and just kind of play. Just kind of see what happens when I backwards with it. I'm just experimenting to see what happens when you do certain things. dipping it in some alcohol, then tapping it off a little, and then just kind of scrubbing the color around a little. Gives it an interesting look. I'm just going around in a circle. More alcohol, tap it off, and just go around in a circle. Now I'm going to add some more color. Add some more of this orange. See what happens. Let's use some of this plum color. Let's see what happens with it. Just put it in the center a little bit and drag it out. Kind of cool, kind of cool. I had a pink here. Let's try that. I wonder what kind of wild and crazy stuff the pink will do. That's going to be interesting, I'm sure. Huh. More alcohol. Oh, that's kind of cool. Is the alcohol alone does fun stuff with it? This is fun. I don't know about you, but it's fun to see what happens. If I'm not, I mean, I don't care whether I'm creating anything pretty necessarily at this point. I'm just experimenting with the different little things, different little doodads that happen when you do this and that and the other. Here's some pink sherbet. It's called, or is that sorbet? No, sherbet. I'm dotting this on. Don't know why. Just because that tickles my fancy at the time being. That's kind of cool looking. Well, that's kind of interesting. Can you see that? How cool that kind of looks? Again, let's see if I can get that on there. It's got all kinds of weird little dots in it and stuff. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, I must admit. Let's see, let's make a flower center and do it out of, ooh, I could try one of the mixatives, but they are like weird. Let's see, do I have a mixative handy that's, I got this green patina one. That's a different color. Gotta get that ball loose. This one shook up easily, thankfully. A lot of them take forever. I'm just gonna put a little dot of that there. Good enough. Oh, and that can be our stem too. It has leaves. There we go. There's our flower on that one. Just simple stem and leaves. I love these interesting looking flowers. So yeah, this is really cool. I'm digging it for sure. A lot of fun. I may do this again. These are ATCs. You can make as big of a project as you want. You could do postcard size if you like. I just decided to try small pieces of art. And I like all of them. I think they all came out very interesting and different and kind of like nothing you can get using any other conventional method, you know. And what's nice is the card looks still shiny. If you were to, you know, put acrylic paint on any kind of glossy cardstock, it would dull it obviously immediately. So it looks just cool on there. And I just think they're wicked cool. And I think it's a lot of fun to play with. So I would give it a try. Find something you have around, a packaging piece or whatever that has little compartments in it where you can play with your alcohol inks. 1 or 2 drops will do a lot. So you don't need a lot of your alcohol inks. You're not going to waste it. Give it a try. Make yourself some cute little alcohol ink ATCs. Little funky flowers. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll give it a try and give it a thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. That's important. And in the description below, right underneath the video, if you scroll down, you'll see where it says show more. It'll say show more in like a gray font or whatever. You just click on that. It'll open up a whole thing in the description with links to my Patreon, links to my Facebook group. If you're not in my Facebook group, you should be in my Facebook group because it's awesome. And links to my favorites on Amazon. And also I will link specific things that I used in this video, like the alcohol inks, the yupo paper, and the glossy cardstock, so that you can also give this a try if you haven't already. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please give it a thumbs up if you have, and comment below and let me know if you've ever tried this technique and what you think of it. And I will talk to you all later. Make sure you do what you love and love what you do and be nice to people, and I will see you later. Bye.